This time, 9 years have gone by, friends. Summer, 1913. Gradual changes in Grover's Corners. Horses are getting rarer. Farmers coming into town now in Fords. Everybody locks their house doors now at night. Ain't been any burglars in town yet, but everybody's heard of them. You'd be surprised, though. On the whole, things don't change much around here. This is certainly an important part of Grover's Corners. It's on a hilltop, a windy hilltop. Lots of sky, lots of clouds, often lots of sun and moon and stars. You come up here on a fine afternoon and you can see range on range of hills. Awful blue they are, up by Lake Sunapee and Lake Winnipesaukee. You go way up and you can see the White Mountains and Mount Washington, up where North Conway and Conway is. And, of course, our favorite mountain, Mount Monadnock's right here. And all about it are these towns, Jaffrey and North Jaffrey, and Peterborough and Dublin, and there, quite a ways down, is Grover's Corners. Yes, beautiful spot up here. Mount Laurel and lilacs. I often wonder why people like to be buried in Woodlawn and Brooklyn when they might have the same time up here in New Hampshire. Over here are the Old Stones, 1660 to 1670. Strong-minded people that come a long ways to be independent. Summer people wander around just laughing at the funny words on the tombstones. They don't do any harm. And genealogists come up from Boston, get paid by city people for looking up their ancestors. Want to make sure they're daughters of the American Revolution or of the Mayflower. Guess that don't do any harm either. Over here are some Civil War veterans. Iron flags on their graves. New Hampshire boys. Had a notion the Union ought to be kept together, though they'd never seen more than 50 miles of it themselves. All they had was the name, friends. The United States of America. The United States of America. And they went and died about it. This here is the new part of the cemetery. There's your friend, Mrs. Gibbs, and Mr. Stimson, organist at the Congregational Church, and Mrs. Soames, who enjoyed the wedding so much. Remember? Oh, and a lot of others. And Editor Webb's boy, Wallace, whose appendix burst while he was on a Boy Scout trip to Crawford Notch. Yes, an awful lot of sorrow has just sort of quieted down up here. People just wild with grief who have brought their relatives to this spot. And at times, sunny days, rainy days, snow. We all know how it is. Now, there are some things we all know, but we don't take them out and look at them very often. We all know that something is eternal. And it ain't houses, and it ain't names, and it ain't earth, and it ain't even the stars. We all know in our bones that something's eternal. And that something has to do with human beings. All the greatest people who have ever lived have been telling us that for 5,000 years. And yet, you'd be amazed how people are always letting go of that fact. There's something way down deep that's eternal about every human being. You know, the dead don't stay interested in us living people for very long. Gradually, they let go hold of the earth, and the ambitions they had, and the pleasures they had, and the things they suffered, and the people they loved. They get weaned away from the earth. That's the way I put it. Weaned away. They stay here while the earth part of them burns away, burns out. And all that time, they slowly get indifferent to what's going on in Grover's Corners. They're waiting. They're waiting for something that they feel is coming. Something important and great. Aren't they waiting for the eternal part in them to come out clear? Some of the things they're going to say, maybe you'll hurt your feelings, but that's the way it is. Mother and daughter, husband and wife, enemy and enemy, money and miser, all those terribly important things kind of grow pale around here. And what's left? What's left when your memory is gone? And your identity, Mrs. Smith?